Hey guys, um, I would like to talk about the new update 1.12.1 and what I've noticed on the NA server, specifically NASA, the South American deployment of it. Um, as you know, there was a lot of work done on the lower tiers, and I believe I'm uniquely qualified to talk about it. um, my love of my owl tractor and my eight skill crew definitely indicates a lot in or a lot invested in the low tiers, specifically tier one. Um, so I'll bring up the article, and we'll just kind of skim through this. Um, so it starts off greeting commanders. It is not always easy for new players to adapt to the game, which I would agree to. Mechanics or show decent performance, especially if they themselves in matches with experienced commanders, which is yes, to give them chance to train by playing in a more or training in or a chance to train by playing in more comfortable battles and mastering their skills faster. And the random battle matchmaker will create separate queue for novice starters with update 1.12.1, which is the current version as of uh, 4/20/21. Um, and I agree with all that. I mean, when you think about it, you're dealing with view range, camouflage, the 25 RNG, the 25% RNG, both in penetration, dispersion, um, all the. I'm trying to learn extremely complex maps. I mean, like generally speaking, before 1.12.1, we had Mines, Himmelsdorf, Abbey as the three maps. And even if you're older school low tier player, you would remember Mount Knockoff as being one. Helping novices improve their skills. The new player in low random battles, tier 1 through 5, will themselves be moved into comfortable battles because most of the tankers in the queue will be most often be fellow novices, which is absolutely awesome. Absolutely required. Um, you're considered a novice if you haven't played a single battle in a researchable tank tier 7 or higher uh, in any game mode. If you show decent performance in the battles with the novices, you will be assigned the status of regular player. I would actually love to see that listed somewhere, like the status, either regular or novice. Um, if you purchase a tier 7 or 8 premium vehicle but continue to fight in low tier 1 through 5 battles, you will still be considered a novice. Okay, I mean, that's fine. That's kind of a, I guess, I would guess that's kind of a gotcha, a way out um, of the regular queue or getting around the regular queue. So that may be exploited a little bit, but meh. If they say it's okay with me. If a novice enters a battle using a low tier 1 through 5 vehicle, the matchmaker will try to assemble the battle in a separate queue involving only novice and in both teams. But if the are novices are enough to create two full teams, or not enough to create two full teams, sorry, the matchmaker will try to add regular players to these specific novice battles. If you enter a battle using a tier 4 vehicle as a novice player, you will be instantly placed in the standard battle random battle queue with the regular players. So, interesting. They reference tier 1 through 5 above, like in here, but they reference tier 4 here. Oh, no, sorry, tier 6. Okay, that makes more sense. I gotta work on my Roman numerals, so no. Um, Regardless of whether you will find yourself in a battle with novices or regular players, of AI players, um, there will be a streamlined list of 5 maps for tier 1 through 3. Mainz, Himmelsdorf, Abbey, and Steps. Um, well, that is true. Oddly, I've also seen um, Runeberg. So I'm not sure what's going on there. The, the last two, which are new additions to the update 1.12, actually 1.12.1, all other maps will be available depending on which players the matchmaker sends into battle. The battle will assemble with only analysis. All other locales will be available starting from tier 5 and from tier 4 for regular battles with regular players. Yeah, that's not what I'm observing. I'm observing that I might be able to access any of the maps or a certain subset of the maps. I don't know. I'm gonna have to play thousands of games just to update to fully figure out what they've done. And also there's a couple references with bots. There's apparently two sets of bots, and we'll cover that in the next section. AI players at lower tiers, aka bots, our top priority is to make sure novice players against other fellow novice players will make them more comfortable and adapting to the game. But depending on the server time of day and current status, the queue or state of the queue, the matchmaker may not have enough players to form equal and competitive teams in tier 1 through 5 matches. So the waiting time may increase significantly. Adding AI controlled tankers will help us quickly get into battle and allow matchmaker to assemble battles faster on a higher populated server or highly populated servers. You will not be less likely to encounter AI players, but it may still happen from time to time. So, the next section kind of talks about identifying these bots. We will, we want to uh, practice or present the AI controlled vehicles in battle to be completely transparent, so we will always be able to easily distinguish them by the ellipse, the 3 dots, of course, in the player's list interface. Here are other points of note about the battles of the AI players. Dealing damage to and and destroying AI enemies will award you the same amount of XP as it would damaging for or destroying the regular human opponents. Just like a regular battle, you will be able to earn achievements, awards, and progress in personal missions, which is absolutely awesome. So there's two sets of bots. There's the 3 ellipse ones, dot dot dot, and then there's a colon, their name, colon, their three ellipses from what I've seen in screenshots. South American server and Asian server actually has bots where it's colon, name, colon, which are populated in times of low population in South American server or in low or in Asian server. Um, those are still in place, and regular queue players can play against them. They've been leveled up. They're definitely a lot more competent. They act a lot more like what I would classify as a semi-competent player. They make some mistakes. They may not reset the cap, or they may um, run themselves into buildings and kind of have to take a couple seconds to get around them. But overall, they don't seem to exhibit some of the quirks that are embedded into the AI meant for novice players. Um, AI players will only be presented with rare novice battles involving vehicles um, between tiers 1 and 5, with the matchmaker lacking significant novice and or regular players to form full teams equal to the competitive team. According to the calculations, each match involving AI players should be relatively frequently depending on the region, time of day, and number of players online. You will be able to view AI players certificate, or you will not be able to view AI players statistics after the battle, which is what I would expect. Note that the smallest battle you can get in the regular queue, or in any game queue, sorry, is 7v7. It's not well documented, but I know that that's a fact. And even my YouTube channel has several 7v7 battles. These matchmaker changes is a win-win for both novices and regular players. They will help us maintain a fair and balanced competitive spirit of the game, and reduce the difficulty curve and make it easier for novices to grasp the basics of World of Tanks and motivate them to play and win, which is absolutely excellent. Matches more experienced commanders with skilled opponents will also can continue their challenge and improve their ability, which is absolutely awesome. We should not be punished for playing our own tier that we love, that we've invested a lot into it. We shouldn't be yelled at by the community. We should not be yelled at by wargaming. We should not be shamed in any way for playing the vehicle that we want to play. Continuing on, decrease the queue times for all players, especially low population servers, will vary on different philosophies, um, or whatever. Basically, yeah, I I completely agree. We will closely monitor how the system works and adjust settings if necessary, which I'm absolutely for. Um, let's improve our thinking skills together, Commander. Whatever. Typical wargaming comedy. So let's take a look at the FAQ page. What is the matchmaker for novices? Then matchmaker for matchmaker in-game feature designed to improve experiences of a novice in low-tier random battles, tier 1 through 5, and not pit them against more experienced players, which is absolutely awesome. Remember, tier 1 has no equipment slots, no consumables, no directives, but they also still gather their capabilities through crew skills, experience of the player, and just generally repetition. Um, a tier will generally have its own meta ingrained into the players, and the players who can work against that meta, the rest of the player base generally adjusts to that, and the meta will actually change and migrate over time. And I've noticed that. Um, let's go on to the next question. Where will the new AI players be available? AI players will be added to separate queue, creating by Matchmaker for novice AI players not to be present outside of this queue, which is um, true, but not exactly true. Again, Asia and SA server have their own set of bots meant for regular queue to fix low population issues with their queue, and the regular queue AI are definitely not to be messed with. Definitely not to be messed with. Um, who is considered a novice? A player that is considered a novice when they have not played a single battle in a researchable tier 7 or higher vehicle in any game mode. If they show performance in or show good performance in battle with novices, they will be assigned the status of regular player. Um, that's weird because I've seen tier 5 associated with that, in tier 4, in tier 6. Okay, whatever. There's something doesn't add up there, but whatever. Wargaming for you. What if a player buys a tier 8 premium vehicle, but the class as a novice? If a player purchases a tier 7 through 8 vehicle or higher premium vehicle, but continues to fight in low tier 1 through 5, the battles will be still considered novice. However, they enter tier 8 battles with premium vehicles. They will join the regular queue with other players or other regular players. Yee. That's okay. Whatever. Throw them to the fire. If they're willing to toss their credit card out, they're willing to uh, get their tanks sent back to the garage in many, many pieces. uh, someone became. Can somebody become a novice if they play poorly? No. Um, let's read the answer. Players who were deemed more experienced by the system and have left the novice queue will be part of it. Will not be part of it again, regardless of the future play. This does not exclude the occasional inclusion of matchmaker requires regular players, which, as a regular player, I'm so for that rare chance to do something different, and it will be an absolute treat to play with novices, absolutely treat. Um, and the novices get to see experienced players play in their domain, maybe even learn from us by observing. I think we, as regular players, should be very cognizant of where we're playing. If we're playing in the normal queue or if we're playing in the novice queue, I think if we're playing in the novice queue, I think we should be very supportive of this new group of players, and hopefully they will excel. One day, they may be the next tier 10 Clan Wars super player. Hmm. Uh, in this AI player section, Why would World of Tanks add AI players to the game? Depending on the time of day, the queue state and the matchmaker will not have enough space to form two full teams. In this scenario, the matchmaker will add several AI controlled vehicles in order to help assemble the team quickly and get the players into battle, which I absolutely completely support. Um, they've been doing a lot of work on these AIs for many years. Um, I've seen the evolution of it. They're they're getting pretty good. Um, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Can how can I how can AI players be distinguished from other players? The AI players can be identified by the three dots or the ellipse symbol at the start of their username. From what I've been told, or sorry, what I've seen in photos, it's three dots and a colon, and then their name, and then I think it's a colon and three dots. Um, yeah, I've always wondered how they generate the AI usernames. Uh, will AI players be available at any time of the day? AI players will only be used during low population when the matchmaker cannot find enough novice players in the queue. Fair enough. Will AI players be available in low tiers in the bigger queue? No. The only in the queue for novice players, which um again does not take into account NASA, the South American server, or Asia. So this statement isn't exactly 100% true, but whatever. Which tier vehicles will AI players use? AI players will be presented in Matchmaker involving between vehicles between tier 1 and 5. They will also be in random weapons configurations. They will. Some of them have camo, some of them don't. So yeah, it's a very interesting system that they have. How will AI players be distributed in a match between teams and players? AI players cannot occupy more than 7 spots in a team of 14 spots in a match. Hmm, interesting. That's so. Does that mean you can never get a 15 on 15 battle with bots? Interesting. Can I check the profile of the AI player? You will not be able to view the statistics of an AI player after battle, which I guess is good because an AI player could. I mean, the name tag of an AI player could play thousands of games a day, like absolutely thousands of games. So it would probably uncover a lot of statistics that were not necessarily things that Wargaming wants to uncover to the player base. Gameplay. What skill level do the AI players have relative to the novices? You can expect the AI players to play similar level of skill to the players who have progressed to the same point in the game in which they are available. AI, i.e., tier 1 through 5. They will respond to the situations at hand, but will also occasionally make mistakes, which will like much like a player of similar experience level. I don't know what that means, but it seems to me like, are they watching the novice player? Are they looking at, like, say, a slightly more skilled novice player or somebody who has just started? Are they like how do they determine what is a proper tier 1 AI for novice players versus a type or a tier 5 um, uh, tier of AI for novice players. Will What is the relative difference between, say, tier 5, tier 4, tier 3, tier 2, tier 1? Obviously, there's some sort of progression in there, so it should be interesting to see um, how this works out. Which vehicles will AI players command? AI players will only control lights, mediums, and heavy tanks within the tiers that they are active. They can not operate tank destroyers or SPGs. Okay, that's fine. Couple things to take into account. Some of the heavier armored tanks, like the Hotchkiss tier 2, um, definitely some of the low tier eight, French tanks are nasty to deal with eight AIs because they are absolutely willing to bounce rounds. Will AI players react to chat commands? No. Other. How will a player's statistics impact impacted by the damage or destroying of AI players? All stats, medals, and match results will be unaffected and will operate as normal. Destroying AI players will award you with the same amount of XP and will you would receive by destroying a regular opponent. Just like a regular battle, you will be able to earn achievements, rewards, and progress in personal missions, which is absolutely awesome. Um, that's absolutely good. There's a little bit of farm there, but the AI will absolutely, on the regular queue at least, is not something to be joking around with. You can't just stick yourself out in the middle of a field and knock down seven AI tanks and not expect to be severely damaged, if not killed, um, much like a regular player. They do not miss. Um, at least they they mostly do not miss. Does the matchmaker only work with newly created accounts? No, the matchmaker works with both new and existing accounts that have no battles played in researchable tier 7 vehicles or higher. Again, tier 7, I'm not sure about that. It sounds to me like tier 6 or 7 is when you get swapped to regular queue. I don't know. So, there's a little bit of inconsistency in the documentation. Whatever. Um, so everything about the SA server and the Asian server AI bots being unaffected is confirmed by Wargaming staff. Um, and I'm interested to see what the map rotation looks like for regular players. Because again, I've seen Runeberg, which is not on the list. So we'll see how this plays out. This is Taser. Uh, yeah. This is Taser signing off.